Greetings, everyone. This is Bart Berkey, and welcome to the debut of a new podcast segment. We're going to be doing this live and celebrated once a week in addition to our regular Most People Don't podcast. This podcast is called For All the Marbles. It's sponsored with our very good friends, Marblism, Marblism. And the show is different. When you think about what most people don't, but you do, is typically we dive deeply into the human element of what motivates someone, what encourages them, what allows them, what influences them to do what most people don't. Based on your feedback and some lovely suggestions, we decided that we're going to take a step back and understand what are the tactics that these people, that the entrepreneurs, that these business owners implement in order to be so successful. For most people don't, but you do. We know they have the drive. But from a tactical perspective, what are they doing? What's the strategic elements? What are the tasks that they are doing that allows them to be so successful? The objective for All the Marbles, sponsored by Marblism, is this: dream big, start small, fight hard, lose some, win more. It's the real stories of owners chasing it all. These are the moments that define entrepreneurship, the long nights, the hard choices, the chance encounters that change everything. Today is episode 1 of For All the Marbles. I am proud to be able to introduce Mr. Doug Baarman. Let me bring Doug to the stage. There he is. Are you excited to be able to join?
I'm excited to be on the first of your new podcasts here. So this is great. Thank you.
Doug Baarman is an SVP with ConferenceDirect, and he is also the owner of Team Baarman. Before we get into a lot of your ideas, Doug, because you have shared so many when I started my entrepreneurial journey, can you explain what you do from a ConferenceDirect perspective, from a leader of Team Baarman? This is going to go out to a lot of entrepreneurs that have different types of businesses that might not be knowledgeable as to what ConferenceDirect does.
Right. I'm always happy to explain what we do. But first and foremost, ConferenceDirect is a meeting management company. So my team, we are reaching out to organizations and we're helping them with all things meetings related. Anything that they need, finding the right hotel, finding the right destination, any kind of service that will enable their team to be more successful and host a successful event, whether it's a conference, a sales meeting, an incentive trip. We're really their partner in helping ensure a successful event. So that's the one hat I wear, is reaching out to clients, helping my team with our clients, which is really where it all starts. The success of our business is only when our clients are successful. And then the second hat I wear is leading my team, mentoring, coaching them. And really I've always enjoyed that part of my role for a long time, whether it be with Marriott or in this role. I enjoy leading teams. I enjoy seeing people go from, they have that dream and I can help them get to that dream. Happy to share more about that, but that's really why I got into this, why I started my own business under the umbrella of ConferenceDirect. And I'm passionate about the hospitality industry as part. I'm actually very involved in the chair of the advisory board back at the hospitality program at my university, Ferris State University of Michigan. So I'm passionate about the hospitality industry and trying to help people in this particular space. You can be entrepreneurial in this industry, and that's what I want to spread the word about.
All right, Doug, I just want to summarize, and I appreciate you being on the first podcast here for All the Marbles. One of the reasons why I wanted to get you on is because you had gone from working for a big organization, Marriott International, for X number of years, a long time, made your way up the ladder. And now that you have joined ConferenceDirect, how many years now with ConferenceDirect?
17.
17. And how many years with Marriott? This means you're old. How many?
Well, you're trying to age me here. Almost 20 years with Marriott.
Okay. All right. So 20 years with Marriott, understanding you're working for a big company and now joining ConferenceDirect, which is assisting meeting and event planners and organizations plan and execute their event. You're almost like a second arm, more help that will allow them with your team's expertise to be able to do the research, pick the hotel, select the hotel, help plan the agenda, all those things. Tell us, what was it like going from a big organization and under, even though you're under the umbrella of Conference Direct, it is an entrepreneurial role. What was that decision like? Do you remember what prompted you to say, I think I would like to take a leap and do this almost on your own? You have the resources, but almost on your own. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. And to be honest with you, it's guided what I've been able to do in bringing my team in, because I tell people I thought it through. I knew what I wanted to do, but I think I jumped out of the airplane without a parachute. And I don't want folks that join me to be doing that. So I really work hard to help them. But I will tell you, Bart, I was very lucky. I had a very entrepreneurial role within a big brand. I was doing some new brands and some new things. So I was experiencing, although I was in that corporate structure, I was able to do some things. And that really intrigued me and made me want to go out and do something on my own. And I remember talking with my brothers and different things, and we were talking about mini storage and this and that. And I'm like, I know the hospitality industry. And so I started really doing my homework of how could I take my experience, the expertise I had, and turn that into a business. Because I think as an entrepreneur, it's all about your passion. It's not going to be easy. As you said in your intro, it's long hours, late nights. It's not like I was working less than corporate America, but I was working for myself now, and I was pursuing my passion. And so your energy level's a lot higher because you're doing something you love. And so I knew I wanted to do it. I just think in hindsight, I wish I would have had a little bit more structure. Hey, here's the playbook. Here's what you should do in your first 6 months and you can be successful. I just had full confidence in myself and the individuals I was bringing with me. And nowadays, when I coach the members and recruit people to join me, I do have kind of a framework. Here's the blueprint. Here's the path. If you follow this path, your chances for success are far greater.
Doug, I want to get back to the playbook thing in a moment, but were you chasing money? Is that why you did it? Because you're a greedy son of a
Yeah,
gun?
I was chasing lifestyle. And I think that's an important question, Bart. I think if people are chasing money, I can't speak for everyone. I don't think that works. At the time I did it, my daughters were elementary school. You and I have talked about this in the past. I'm coming home after everyone on the street, and I've got doctors and lawyers and all these people doing stuff, and I'm selling hotel rooms, and I'm the one coming home and missing dinner, and they're grilling out with their families. And I'm like, something's wrong here. And this enabled me to work from home, be at home. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but I could stop for a little bit when my kids came home from school, spend some time with them, then get back to what I needed to do. So I did it for lifestyle. I did it probably a motivation to prove to myself that I could do something, but I was not chasing the money. My goal was, could I get back to what I was making in this model? And once I could do that, then, you can take the next steps if you want to.
How long did it take you to get back to your prior model from a revenue side? Do you remember?
It's funny you said it because I've been preaching. We're going through a little bit of some changes going on right now in the market, as everyone on the floor at IMEX last week was talking about. We're unsure. There's a little bit of changes going on in the industry. It seems like things are slowing down for some of the hotels. So I've been preaching to my team, like all the businesses that started during the downturn, Amazon, Microsoft, all these different things. And my team reminded it, we started in 2007. So our timing was great. We started in August of 2007, and then the financial collapse happened in 2008. So we started during a downturn. It probably took me a little bit longer. Again, my thing is, number one is how do you get to just covering all your expenses? It's not costing you anything to be in business. The number two step is how do I get back to what I was earning? And then, hey, what's my ultimate goal financial? Let's work towards that third step. I would say, even with the financial crisis in 2008, by 2009, I was up and running and doing fine. And I go back to fortunate to have a spouse that was very supportive. I think that is important too, whether it's your spouse, partner, surround yourself with that group of folks that are going to cheer you on and help you and guide you. You need that too. Entrepreneurs shouldn't be doing this alone. You need a team of people supporting.
Doug, a couple things that you shared. I love that you did it for lifestyle. You really did it for your family. You had shared with me prior that you were very proud to say that every single night, just about, if you were in town, you were going to have dinner and or breakfast with your family, your wife and your two girls. That's powerful. You weren't doing it for the money. You were doing it, one, to challenge yourself, to two, to see what else you could learn because you're always learning. But you did it really for the right reasons, which I think is very noble. And for our listeners that are thinking about starting a business or expanding a business, step number one, do it for the right reasons. Don't do it because you're chasing the dollar. You might be fed up or frustrated with a different type of environment. Please make sure that you are doing it for the right reasons.
Correct.
I know that this is what you share with your team as well whenever they're trying to make a decision. I've been in the hotel business for X number of years. I've been in the event side for X number of years. What questions do you ask them to help them evaluate whether or not stepping into a role that is basically paid upon performance? What are some of the questions that you ask them to make sure that they feel secure in their decision to give up a full-time paycheck to be able to do something different in which the paycheck might also full-time, but it might vary?
Yeah. I think you touched on it a second ago, Bart. I think I'm trying to find out why the reasons are they're even talking to me or exploring this. I think there are great ones. Right now, I've been talking to a bunch of folks that are approaching retirement, but they want to keep their foot in the industry. They're looking at, hey, could I be a part of Team Baarman and could I keep a toe in this business, maybe part time in the hospitality industry? You've got folks going through life changes and all that. So I'm trying to explore why are they? You just said it. If you're mad at where you are and your boss, you're probably not the right one for me to join my team. Like I want folks that have thought about it before. Maybe they didn't fully understand this option, but they're somewhat entrepreneurial or they've always wanted to do this. I mean, you've heard me talk about it before, Bart. You got to know your why. I mean, what is the real driving force? And um, I'm searching for that early on in the discussion when you're still in that kind of, hey, tell me about what's going on with you. Before we get into this is how you could be successful in this model and this is how you would build a client base. You think you could do that? It's really, why would you want to pursue this? And it's funny because I go through that and then I try to, okay, they're ready. I talk them through that. And then at the end, I'm trying to talk people up. You're giving up your salary, you're giving up benefits. Are you ready to do this? There's so many upsides, but you got to fully assess the risk and the downsides and understand it. And if you understand it and you're still excited about it and you're ready to do it, then you're a great candidate for us.
You shared the why. The why does someone want to start their own? Because Conference Direct with on your team, it is essentially you have the resources of Conference Direct, but it is an entrepreneurial role. You are starting your own business with your
Yeah.
own found book of business. I asked the founder, and shout out to Marblism. Ulrich Moset is the founder of Marblism. And the reason why he and I became very engaged with each other, he was on the podcast, and I asked him, why did you start Marblism? And for those that are new to learning about Marblism, it is essentially a tool that assigns you 7 AI employees. You have everything from a sales associate that is outreaching based on your target audience, sending emails for you, to Ava, who is your assistant that is not only organizing your inbox, but then also creating thoughtful responses as drafts to your emails. It's just unbelievable. Social media writer, let's see, you can schedule your social media posts, plenty of things. And the reason why Ulrich is so passionate about Marblism, I asked him, why are you doing this? He said he wants to create, and he's from France. He told me it could have been opening up a bakery shop and making croissants. That is creating. But he had an affinity toward technology and other elements. And the other reason why he created Marblism is that he wants to help other people as they are growing their business, that might not have tons and tons of corporate resources to be able to take advantage of using AI, artificial intelligence, to be able to contribute to your business. He shared that he hired a ghostwriter, he hired a social marketing media person, he hired a salesperson, and it was costing him tons and tons of money with one of his prior companies. And he thought to himself, a lot of people can't afford X, Y, and Z. What
Correct.
if I use technology, and this was years ago, to be able to help people grow their individual business? That's how Marblism started. I just want to insert that to Yurik and to the team at Marblism, marblism.com
But Bart, sorry
for
to interrupt you. That's a great story. I've never met this founder, but he is perfect to what we're talking about, right? He saw a problem, he saw a challenge, and he wanted to solve it. That's the other thing with entrepreneurs. You're doing it for a lifestyle, but then you've also recognized, and you're a person that does it all the time. You drive down the road and you see something, you're like, wow, I wish I could fix that. And your mind starts spinning on how I can do it. Obviously, this person, and he's right on to the small entrepreneurs, more the mom and pop, if you will, like myself, because we didn't go out and get a bunch of money from private equity we didn't want to go and get big bank loans to start this. But you do need marketing support. You do need admin support. You do need accounting and all that back of the house support. We get a lot of support from the brand of Conference Direct, but you're still running your own business. And so he saw a problem saying, hey, these small businesses don't have all these resources and don't know to do it. I'm going to create something for them. And that describes entrepreneurs. He found a problem and he's going to solve it. And his why is exciting him every day. I'm helping small businesses be successful. Right.
yeah. Doug, what's also interesting about you, and I realize that every time I ask you a question, I say your name again. I'm going to call you Barney. Barney, going from being an entrepreneur to starting and finding your own base of accounts, then realizing in order to grow, you need to have people working with you and for you and growing their base of accounts. Therefore, I know a very small percentage comes to you based on how they do. Was it a unique step going from leading people to now it's just Doug Baarman? You don't have a team. You need to hustle. You need to get clients because you were a leader for so long. Yes, you're a salesperson naturally. What was that transition like going from being a leader, having a SVP title, then to becoming an entrepreneur with a team of one when you started?
That's funny. I haven't thought of that in a long time, Bart, but it's a great question because I think again it goes back to your why and your passion, because you do need to step back and do all those things that I hadn't done in 10 and 15 years when I was a salesperson. Now I'd been a sales leader and I'd stop by clients like you did in your national sales role and you thanked them and we loved you. But I didn't have a direct relationship with them. And I had friends that were looking at starting businesses, but they had been big corporate executives and they were met at the airport baggage claim and the driver drove them when I started my business, there was no one meeting me at baggage claim and I wasn't flying first class on Southwest Airlines. And you had to take a giant step back, but you did it and you were loving it and enjoying it because you were doing your thing. So it goes back to your why, your passion, all of that. And you don't worry about, hey, there's no black SUV sedan here picking me up at the airport. I'm going to try and find wherever the Uber is in this airport and get my way out of here. And so again, if you're all in, then it makes it fun. And so to answer your second part of the question, I started with myself. I knew I had to get out there and hustle and build, my own client base and get this business going before I had something to actually go to folks and say, hey, you can do this too. That's the big thing of an entrepreneur. Then it becomes leverage. Or I can't do all this myself. Leverage is a big thing. I can only grow so high as one person. But if I can build a team, then, the ceiling starts rising. And so I understood that. And I understood I had to leverage this by bringing in other talented people. And in my case, I brought in people far more talented than me. And now that's been the greatest thing. And I think that's a big thing for entrepreneurs too. You got to learn that you're not the smartest one in the room. If you can bring better people in and be willing to take the lessons. And that's how I've been able to create this blueprint. You've met some of my team. They're incredible folks and they all do it differently. And that's what I love. And I take the best of that. But if I had to summarize, we've already talked about, if I had to summarize what makes my best people successful, they know why they're doing this. I don't have to call them in the morning and ask them if they're making sales calls. So it's not about the number of posts they had this week or sales calls or appointments. They get up every morning because they know their why. They know what they're trying to do for them or their family or whatever. And they get out and hustle. And I don't have to push them, which is great.
Always goes back to, so far, the why, the motivation, the purpose, the passion. If people are listening, if they are enamored by having a limousine or a black sedan pick them up, if they're enamored by first class, if they're enamored by suites and benefits, all of these things, this is not going to be the right type of approach for you. Maybe not initially. I think the long-term benefits can certainly be there. I'm just thinking about me, Doug, after 16 years with Ritz-Carlton, when I went to a hotel, I would get a very nice room. I would have an amenity. I would have a signed card. I would have something personalized and customized to me. Now I might be going to a hotel that I have to change rooms 3 times in 3 days, like just happened to me in a certain city. And that's okay because I'm finding my fuel by helping people, by getting the messages, by saying, these are the 3 things that I learned just from a quick interaction with you. Getting a text on a Saturday morning, Doug, that from someone I don't know that said, would you remind me one more time to tell them that they're doing great? Those are the things that motivate. If we have to,
See, so that's right there, where you're starting to articulate why you did what you do, and your company name is basically kind of your. I'll tell you what, I heard the best thing a long time ago, and it's been articulated many different times, and I'm sure you've heard it back in your day. And I've never liked the kind of the analogy because it's you're writing your eulogy or whatever, which I didn't like that, but I've heard it like, what would you like that one sentence about your life to be? If you had one sentence about your life, what would it be? And for me, even back when I was a director of sales, the first time I was a director of sales, I had 2 salespeople I took over that my predecessor had just beaten down. It was like they were ready to quit, get fired, something. And my challenge was I want to turn those folks around. I want to give them a fresh start. And I think that was the beginning of mine. And those 2 individuals did, not because of anything I did, other than I gave them a chance to do what they knew they could do. But my life sentence has always been, I want to help people build a strong living that will fund that perfect life they want and enable them to give back. And I don't know what the perfect life means to them. And I don't know what giving back means to them. I don't need to know. They need to know that. But I want to be the vehicle that helps them build that life that can do that. And I've been able to do that. I've watched people join my team and be able to pay off their homes and set their kids up or whatever. That was their dream. So that charges me. And I know that text to you because you're out there motivating people. You're speaking to people that need that are somewhere not at a good place, and you're helping them get to a good place. And that's why on a Saturday, you're getting a text, and that makes you want to run through walls on Monday and help that next group of people. You know what I mean? That's how this works. So you didn't say, I got that text and they also sent me the check for the speaking engagement or whatever. You didn't say the money part. You're excited because someone listened to you. Someone heard something you said. It meant something to them. I think that's what entrepreneurs are in a nutshell.
Yeah, I agree. Have you found the perfect life? Have you created the perfect life?
I think you're always looking for the perfect life, but yeah, I think I have a great life. The things that were important to me that I wanted for my family, the kind of lifestyle, whether it be part at the beach and part at my home here in Maryland. Yeah. And being able to give back, I've been able to give back to Ferris State University, which kind of launched me and got me headed in the right direction, in my opinion. And other things that I've been able to do. I think a perfect life for all of us probably evolves, right? As we transition, the perfect life when your kids are at home is a little bit different than now they're gone. Okay, what do I want it to look like? And now it's just Danielle and I again. I think it evolves, but
Ask me
I'm living a good life. So
ask me the same question.
I have to, Bart. What is the perfect life or a good life? Are you living it right now?
I believe I am. Thank you. Nice talking to you. I'll tell
I
you why.
believe you are when I watch you. It's look at the smile on your face. How many people did we see last week, Bart, standing at trade show booths that didn't look like they were enjoying their job? Like those are
Hundreds,
the
if
people
not
you want to say,
thousands.
you know what? There's a lot of great things out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Let's
just
go out
have
and do it.
you have to figure it out. You have to stop, pause to think. You have to release to rise. You have to come up with a plan. You don't need to do it alone. You need to listen to things like For All the Marbles to learn from other entrepreneurs
Absolutely.
how to do it. And that was part of the vision that Yurik and I had come up with, the founder of Marblism. What
I would say,
platform?
Bart, what you just said is dead on. I have some different podcasts, yours included, that I listen to. I think if you're not out there every week listening to things like what you're going to start here, you're crazy. Learn from those that go down the road. You and I have talked about this before. When I became a director of sales of a large convention hotel, I called other directors of sales at other around the country and said, well, how do you do it? Every one of them said, wow, no one's ever called me. And I'm thinking, wow, this is the easiest thing ever. You're already doing the job. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? What systems do you have in place? Why wouldn't you learn from those that went down the road before you? So all the people you're going to bring on this podcast, I'm looking forward to learning from, including obviously the founder of this company. Sounds like someone, I want to listen to his on your other podcast. What motivated him to start this business? I want to learn that. Why wouldn't I? I'm always going to get one or two ideas that maybe I can take back to my business and implement. And while you're walking, while you're having your morning coffee, get a couple
Learn
good
something.
lessons would be my advice.
We've heard the expression, check your ego at the door. And I think it's very important that if people want to start their business or grow their business, they need to hire smarter people, hire people that are smarter than them. That takes a decline in ego to be able to realize that there's other people that are smarter than me and I should probably hire them. They don't need to be enamored with the immediate paycheck. They're not going to be glorified by being picked up in a big limousine. All of the things that you want to be able to give back. So there's so many things that are unegotistical, if that's a word, that are not egotistical. Modesty and openness and self-awareness, which shouldn't really come as a surprise to anyone. I do want to answer your one question because I didn't really answer it. Two things have happened recently, Doug.
You
Uh,
better, you better answer that question about a good life.
Yes.
Come
No.
on,
And this is the most fulfilling thing that I have ever done in my entire life.
Hmm.
And we know that it started with heart attack 7 or 8 years ago, changes, COVID, things happen that pushed me, the universe pushed me to do this. And it's the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done. It's the most difficult thing that I've ever done, the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. Two things happened recently. Christmas, December is coming up. And last Christmas, I remember being in the Strip District, visiting my mother, and we went into a little place to grab lunch. Holiday season, it's a buzz, holiday music playing, people buying cookies and getting ready for it was Christmas Eve. And there was one place, one of our favorite places, and there was an order for a $600 container full of sushi. 600 bucks. And at the time, last year, I thought, oh my gosh, I would love to be able to buy $600 worth of sushi for my family for a holiday celebration. And at the time, it wouldn't have been reasonable. Today, I would be able to treat anyone in a good way to a $600 container full of sushi for a holiday celebration, not because I'm overflowing with funds, but because I'm smart enough, I've figured many things out that I could afford to do that. And I would like to be able to give to people. That's one thing. Second thing, I heard Terry, my co-owner, co-founder, and business partner and wife, I heard her say the other day, I have everything that I need. I have a great family. I have healthy kids. I love what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
We're doing this together. We're doing it together. I just want to go back and circle a couple of things. Doug, you had shared also a playbook. a playbook for figuring it out. We talked about a lot of different themes, using resources, checking your ego at the door, being open to learn. What else would you say is in the playbook for ideas for these business owners, entrepreneurs? What could they start to do, or what could they do even better?
I think what I learned, Bart, and it actually ties into a little bit of what you were just saying about your definition of success, which is great. The two examples you gave. And with my team, go back to the money part, each person on my team is trying to earn a different level. Some are just trying to, maybe pay for the horse that their daughter, the hobby there. And some are trying to support a family of five. So I work with each one of them to do something different. And where it all came to me is that I have a business coach that really is coming from the real estate business. But I think any business, whether it's with Marblism is going to support or not, you need a framework for success. And nothing against our model, but it was more, the story was, hey, you can work from home, it'll be better. It's a low cost, like yours. There was a low cost to enter your business, right? You have a laptop, have a home office, and you're up and running. That's not reality. Reality is, if you want to be successful and at the level of what you've achieved, you're going to need some admin support, some interns, some advice on bookkeeping and all that. So you're not out there alone as an entrepreneur. So this blueprint is really who you need, from accountability buddies and coaches and mentors to the back of the house stuff. And then from my 17 years of doing this, here's how people did it. If you follow the steps that they took, it increases your chance of success. And that's really what I've done. Again, go back to my jumping out of the plane without a parachute. I didn't have that playbook. So to me, I wouldn't want anyone joining me today without me being able to say, okay, here's the playbook. Let's follow this, and our chances for success are much greater. And that's really what motivated me to start that. I didn't want anyone, God bless my wife, for when I went to her and giving up my job, giving up my salary, no benefits. And she's, let's do this. I have no idea why she agreed to that. I had no substance. I didn't say, here's the actual business plan. I think we can do this. She's, let's do it. And they're like yours. You have to have Terry, I had to have Danielle, or this wouldn't have worked. I couldn't have done it alone. And I don't think any of these successful entrepreneurs, if you really interviewed them, ever did it alone. And that would be my story.
No, and great ideas, Doug. So part of it is strategic, what you just shared. The step 1, 2, 3 for the playbook for your team. Is there anything that you can share that's very tactical that might be of benefit to our listeners?
It's actually a playbook I'm willing to share with anyone. I got a lot of people that reach out and say, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, or I'm thinking of going and doing something else. Ironically, at IMAX, Bart, I ran into the people that you helped and brought in during the pandemic that were looking for something to do. Everybody needs that support and someone to guide them. But I think I will tell you, it's how you started this thing, Bart. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, it's about taking action. And so my framework is giving you guidelines of taking action. Here's where we're finding good clients. Here's the activities we're going to get there. But I think what I'm stressing is the people that come into this and don't do well, I will guarantee you it's because they didn't do the activities to do that. They thought, I'm going to come over here and the phone's going to ring like it did back when I sat at my desk at Big Brand.
Yeah.
And that's not. When you run your shingle, as most people don't, the phone didn't just ring off the hook. Right? You had to get out there and hustle and tell people, here's my value proposition. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm all about. So for me, I give them the guideline, and then I give them some examples of here's the activities you need to do. And it is all about activity. Get out there and tell your story. And you should be excited to. Like when I started, I was telling everybody, my parents have since passed. We're living in a senior living place. And I told my dad what to do, and he called me with a lead, for crying out loud. An 80-year-old guy was talking to his neighbor, and the next thing talking to someone in a senior living that had retired as the CVB president and said, I can introduce you to a bunch of people. And I'm like, I was just telling my dad what I was doing, for crying out loud. But you got to do the activity, and you do it when you're passionate and you love it. And you've always been passionate about what you're doing, Bart. You're out there telling people what you do. You don't want to be obnoxious, but you want it when you leave that coffee, that whatever, you want someone to go, oh, I know what Doug does, or I know what Bart does. So it's about activity, and you got to know your pitch, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
got to have that. I know I hit the elevator pitch, but it is. What's that one sentence that tells people what you do, and make sure you do it. You don't want to be standing at a cocktail party and someone comes up to you, Bart, and you go, "What do you do?" That's complicated. You want to be able to say, "I help people, and here's how I help.
Yes.
Here's the problem I solve," and then people leave and go, "I know someone that can use your help, Bart."
You make it sound so easy. Almost if I wanted to lose 10 pounds, Doug, you're telling me that you could give me the step 1 through 10 of what I could do to lose some additional weight. I could exercise. I could get proper rest. I could eat things that are not out of a box, a pantry, or a can. I could limit my intake of sugary beverages. I could lift weights. I could get outside. I could drink water before coffee. You make it sound so easy, Doug. Is it easy to lose weight, Doug? Is it
I got to answer that question second, Bart, but your analogy is dead on. Okay. I love the hospitality industry that I'm in. This isn't brain surgery. And I know you're going to have entrepreneurs from other industries and all that. And maybe that will be different. I think ours is a very simple industry. But to your part, you and I know how to lose weight. Before we even call Bart Berkey the expert on weight loss, we know we're just not doing it. You know what I mean? So it's putting together that simple list that we all know, but now it's a document, it's a framework, it's a blueprint in front of me. And then there's a coach, a mentor, an accountability buddy that's going to be right there to say, how you doing on that? Hey, Bart, you said you were going to reach out to 5 people this week. Did you reach out to 5 people? You said you were going to do 2 podcasts this week. Did you do? It's just, it is simple, but it's not easy. Now you got to go do the work, right? But again, if you love what you're doing and you feel good about what the service you're offering is providing value, then you're excited about spreading the word. Like, to me, if I have team members that aren't willing to make the calls and do that, it's time for them to move on, because they don't actually believe in what they're selling. If I can't tell my friends and neighbors and other people that I worked with in the past what I'm doing today and how excited I am about doing it, hey, no harm, no foul. There's something else for you somewhere else. This just isn't your passion. And let's part friends and move on.
Just yesterday, I came across an old agenda with some past clients from years and years and years ago. I was curious. I know I'm connected with them on LinkedIn, but I haven't reached out to them for the longest time. And this goes back to CVB days. This goes back to Hyatt Hotel days.
Mhm.
And I thought, everyone is reaching out right after IMEX, a big industry event. Why wouldn't I just say hello? I started to run into people that I have not seen for 7, 8 years. I started to see some of my team members that I've not seen for 7 or 8 years. And they made me feel special. They complimented me. They said, "Oh, you're such a superstar. You're a celebrity now. I follow you. You're all over the world." It made me feel good, but it also gave me confidence that not everyone knows what Doug Baarman is doing today. Not everyone knows what Bart Berkey is doing today. It's okay if we're excited about it and we're good people, like our listeners are, like you are. It's okay to let them know that I'm doing this full time, not in a cheesy way. I'm a keynote speaker. I do sales and service training. I help with organizational design development and increasing people to feel better, do better, and get better. Wow. Could you use that? And could we do something together? People are saying yes. Last question, Doug. When you are telling people what you do, is there a balance? A lot of people don't like sales. A lot of entrepreneurs don't like sales. How would you suggest they phrase or approach telling people? And I just heard this the other day, that most people in the world don't know what you do or what I do, Doug. Most people don't. Duh. So it's okay to share. What suggestions would you have for entrepreneurs, new business owners that don't have the propensity to want to go and shout from the mountaintop, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, you and I are coming from a sales background, and we knew how to go make sales calls. That didn't mean we loved it. I don't think every one of us were necessarily an extrovert that loved to walk into a room full of people and we were just going to light up and say, I knew salespeople like that. I don't believe I was one of them, but I think I have a lot of folks on my team that don't have sales backgrounds. They came from more the meeting planning. It goes back to the sales training that we went through, Bart, and some instances we were teaching it, and you're continuing to teach. But it starts with asking some questions and getting to know people before you just jump into that sales pitch. And every meeting planner has a lot on their plate. And so you're asking some questions and you're finding out what it's like. And you're like, you know what? I can help you with that. So you become a problem solver versus someone doing a sales pitch. If I'm doing a sales pitch, if we're getting on a Zoom call and I got to go through a 20-page PowerPoint, it's not going to go well, Bart. If you and I get on the phone and you tell me, hey, you know what? As part of my speaking, I'm now going to start putting on these big conferences and I'm going to have 200 people come in and I'm going to do training. I really don't know how to get where the hotels or where should I go? You know what, Bart? I got you on that. I can help you. I'm going to find the right destinations for you that'll draw the kind of folks that you want, that'll be affordable. It's more of a discussion and a problem solving than sales. And nothing against sales. I love sales, but again, our background, we were taught to ask questions first, get to know the people, and then you finally give them the resolution at the end. Oh, you're looking for this meeting room with windows. You know what? We've got a meeting room over here with windows, and I can assure you're going to have a great meeting. It's the same thing in this world. But I would go back to your little line of how you help people on. That's your coffee talk. That's your elevator pitch. That's your thing at the reception. And people are going to leave and go, I don't need that. But man, my wife's the vice president of sales, and she's been telling me all of her salespeople don't have a lot of training. I got to have her call Bart. That's how this works. What we find is who we're talking to is like one level or two level from who ends up actually using us. You know what I mean? And it's so neat that way.
Yeah. I had a person that ran into me at the show in Vegas that heard my commencement speech at Penn State University in 2012. This is 13 years later. I remembered her name because we're connected on LinkedIn. She came up to me after the commencement speech. I'm going to give a shout out to Haley McIntyre with Placemaker, is the hospitality company now. She reached out to me. She felt vulnerable enough and comfortable enough to send me a note to say, can I get your ideas? I'm trying to search for a job, my next job. Will you help me? And sure enough, I look back from many years ago. I was kind to her. I responded to her, not because I thought 13 years later I would be doing sales training for them or being a keynote speaker for their team meeting. It was because I wanted to be able to help a student that was asking me, and look that, and now it might lead to something in a good way, or maybe it doesn't, but it led to someone saying, and she repeated a story that I shared from 2012 at the commencement speech. That's why we do what we do.
Mark, that's also a great story for entrepreneurs. Just do the right thing and talk to people and help them. And like you asked me a blueprint, if someone called me, I'll walk through it with them, and then they'll go work for our competitor. You know what? At some point in time, they're either going to remember that, or they're going to come back and join me, or I did the right thing and I helped them. The majority of our clients come from standing on the sidelines at soccer fields, synagogues and church groups and community centers and coffee shops. And they're just conversations with real people and finding out their problems and saying, hey, I know someone that can help you with that. And maybe it's me, and maybe it's Bart Berkey, and you're going to come in and do training for them. But the leads come when you're out there excited about what you do, passionate about what you do, and you're willing to help people and you're doing it for the right reason, it'll come back to you. And I think that's what you're experiencing now. You've been giving, and now you're starting to see the rewards of it. And that's when it's cool.
I agree. Doug, thank you so much for being the first debut guest on For All the Marbles in partnership with Marblism. I want to make sure that we are giving out your contact information. Doug, may I give your email?
Sure, sure.
Doug, D-O-U-G Baarman, B-A-A-R-M-A-N at ConferenceDirect, all one word, .com. You can connect with him on LinkedIn. He's extraordinarily active on LinkedIn, provides a lot of resources and ideas for free. Doug, what is the best website? Is it Team Baarman?
Yeah, if you go to teambarman.com, you'll see all about my team and a little bit about what we can do for our clients and the folks that we want to potentially join me as well. Thank you for having me on this first one. And I thank you and the founder of the company for starting this. I'm looking forward to, I think, a podcast like this that's going to bring entrepreneurs in we can all learn from, and we all need to. And you, throughout those years when we started, Bart, which I'd have to get a calculator out to add it up and figure out my age and everything, but I'm still learning. And I think everyone, as an entrepreneur, I know you are, we need to keep learning. Don't ever think you know it all. Just keep participating and listening to podcasts like this, because we need to keep learning and growing every day.
Agreed. Doug, and I will share this with you. I know we've been exchanging some emails. The website for Marblism is marblism.com. And the way that Uric and team came up with that term, they wanted it to be a verb, like happiness, a movement, but the movement is Marblism, creation, like a statue out of marble, and a movement that is an ism. That's one of the reasons why they wanted to do it. Doug Baarman, again, terrific gentleman, SVP with ConferenceDirect, and also the founder of Team Baarman, connecting hospitality companies with event and meeting organizations. Doug.Baarman at ConferenceDirect.com, Team Baarman with 2 A's.com.
Thank you, Bart. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug.
All right.